Will call the meeting of the Ramsey County Commission to order. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. As you notice, we have some new audio-visual equipment. So if there's bugs in the system, we'll work those out as we go. But there is a little bit of a learning curve for everybody. We do have a new podium and microphone up front. So anybody addressing the commission, if you'd please come to the front, and there's a little button on the front. If it's green, it's on. Please make sure that it's on so everybody in the internet world can make sure that we hear everything we're saying. So with that, approval of the minutes. Second. We have a motion. We have a second to approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Approval of the agenda. Any additions to the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second that.
We have a motion. We have a second. Go ahead and approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. First item up on the agenda would be the update of the Devils Lake Park Board on the dockside entertainment system. So, Kale Strummy, welcome.
No, oh, there. I guess I'm green now. Good evening. We just like to thank you guys for providing us the opportunity to come give you guys an update on dockside. I think things have been really moving really well since the last time I guess we've came to the board here. Since the last time we were here, we have hired Dennis Nybo. He is the new Parks and Rec Superintendent. And we also have hired Christy Remick. She's our new dockside and community engagement manager. And really, I'll let her do the talking, but really I just want to, from our board to yours, we'd like to thank you guys on the partnership on this project. I think it's something that the community is going to be proud of, and it's going to be something the community and Lake Region will get to enjoy for years. So Christy and Dennis have done a great job keeping things moving with the port, or moving things with the park and with dockside. So with that, I'd just like to welcome Christy Remick up to give you guys a more in-depth information. Thanks.
Thank you. Welcome, Christy.
Hi, thanks for having me today. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Christy Remick. So I was hired by the park board at the end of November to kind of take on the dockside management program, as well as being the community engagement manager. So if you follow us on Facebook and you see all the posts that have been coming, that's me that's doing on that side now. So I brought with you guys to share with you guys today the updated floor plan of Dockside Entertainment. A little bit has changed since the original one, and I'm not sure when you guys last have seen this. But if you take a look at it, I'll just go through it and then I'll give you guys a little update of what's happening there today as well. So if you look at the entrance kind of on the side of the building when you enter, which would be like the bottom right hand corner of the diagram, that's kind of the main entrance into the building. So it's the same entrance that was in the when it was the Levers building as well, except the only difference is there's just going to be one door to enter versus the two that were there before. And then you'll notice that the walking track kind of goes around the whole perimeter of the activities. So you'll see it's a 3-lane walking track. It's actually a fairly decent sized walking track. It's about 11 laps as a mile. So it's kind of fun. The nice thing about the walking track is that you'll be able to see different aspects going on in the community. So if you're thinking of someone that's walking through Dockside Entertainment, they can watch kids playing at the playground or see pickleball going on or see people bowling or see people at the simulators. So it kind of connects the community together of being able to walk around that perimeter and see everything that's going on. Then you'll see on the right side of the diagram, it's 6 bowling lanes. So that kind of takes into account a big space in that front half of the building. And then to the left side of the bowling, you'll see it's arcade games. So the idea of the arcade space is kind of be more entertainment wise. So it's like Pac-Man games, that type of stuff. So kind of young adult, teenager age. And then between that, you'll see the 5 simulator bays. So those are the 5 multi-sport simulator bays. So they're not just used for golf. You can use them for hockey, lacrosse, football, arcade type games in there as well. So those 5 take up that space. And I'll give you guys a project update after we kind of go through the floor plan. And then on the other side of that, you'll see there's a big wall dividing the space, and then you'll see the 2 pickleball courts. Those are multi-use sport courts. So everything that we're having with the pickleball is portable. So if we want to open up that space to play kid games or do a yoga class or whatever we want to do in there, we have that nice multi-sport court space to use and move around. And then beside that is the indoor playground. So that is a playground that'll have a rubber flooring, so it has everything safe for kids to use. And then if you'll notice on the far left, there's a big open space now. That was our planned movie theater space. So it's the top left side of the floor plan. But then when Encore 301 decided to open, we actually changed that space to just be additional multi-sport court space. And it's nice because it has a really tall ceiling there. So if we want to roll in portable basketball hoops for kids to play on, or if will actually be able to have a 3rd pickleball court on that space as well. And we also received a grant from Visit Devil's Lake for inflatables. So we'll be able to set those up for birthday parties or a controlled chaos day where we have kids like fight the frost and come in and do inflatables for the day. So we have that space, which is really nice to use for the kids. And then you'll just see general bathrooms as well as our office space is going to be in there. So there's 3 offices, concession, registration desk for the Devil's Lake Park Board. And then the very bottom of the diagram, you'll see 2 community rooms. So we'll be able to host birthday parties as well as meeting space for anyone that wants to use it. And then on the right side of that, you'll see a lounge space. So it says senior lounge on there, but we're making it kind of a hangout space with some furniture for even kids after school that if they want to come and hang out in there. We all know kids like to kind of sit on their phones sometimes and take a checkout break. So they can do that kind of in that space as well. So that kind of overviews the floor plan. In terms of what I've been working on, if you've noticed at the top, it says the website docsidedl.com. So that is fully live and up to date. So you'll see all the information, including daily rates, membership rates, kind of reservations for bowling, what the reservations for the simulator bays look like. So that's all up there, as well as you can see construction progress on the website as well. So you can actually go in there and look at pictures and see what's been updated and how the progress looks. So it's kind of cool to see that on there. And then we also have our Facebook and Instagram stuff is live as well. So that's kind of on my side. We're having it work kind of like the Devil's Lake Park Board does currently. So if you are used to using the Park Board website and you can log in and sign up for swimming lessons, or you can book a tee time for golf, all of that will be under one umbrella for Dockside as well. So you'll be able to just have all of that with your household linked. So you can go in and have your family based, and then you can go in and book your reservations for bowling. My goal is to have it as streamlined as possible. So hopefully people can just show up at Dockside and be ready to go. So it'd be, let me show you to your bowling lane, let me show you to the playground, or whatever you need to do. So that's kind of our goal that we're working on for the website right now. Construction wise, it's a really busy week at Dockside. I was just there today. The playground installation people are there right now. So they're installing that. And then the golf simulators are there right now as well. So they're working kind of simultaneously in different sides of the building. And then there's a bunch of people working on getting all the sheetrock, mudding and taping and texture stuff done. So the back half of the building where you see the pickleball and the playground, that is pretty much prepped for painting, and the ceiling is painted. So that got done first so that the playground people could install the playground without having to worry about going over that playground equipment. So it looks really good in there, and progress is really coming around even in the last month and a half that I've been with the park board. So it's kind of fun to see from that demolition, really seeing nothing in there, to all the walls, everything's framed up. Most of the sheetrock is up already. You can kind of visualize where everything is going. So it's kind of neat on that side. We also have a couple different sponsorship stuff that came out. So if you are a business owner, look for that. So we do have some other, I know you guys are a corporate sponsor as well. So you'll see information on what kind of donor wall recognition, all of that's up on our website as well. So you can go check that out. kind of trying to make everything open and communicative as possible. So there's no questions or people aren't like, what's going on over there? I mean, it's pretty much all out there now. So does anyone have any questions?
Anybody?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a really good community space. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to see different generations in the community all together under one space and being able to use it. And I think it'll be a great impact in the community.
Timeline for opening?
So we are planning on end of March, beginning of April, that range. Construction originally they had a February date, but we made a lot of changes, like with the movie theater being changed. We kind of changed some of the office space. So we kind of pushed that back about to the end of March, but hopefully maybe sooner. We don't know for sure yet. And there's a couple things. The bowling alley can't get installed till air handlers are. There's just a couple little different things that have to wait for one thing to the other, but otherwise it's looking pretty good for end of March.
Right. So all this office space over here is going to be the park board then?
Yep. So if you look at it, so there's 3 offices. So there'll be the superintendent of parks, the facility manager, and then our business manager, which is Heather Brandvold right now. And then our registration. So right now you go register at the Burdick Arena and you have the checkout, the desk up there. You'll do that all at Dockside now. That way our staff there can help manage Dockside. So if we don't have staff there during the day, then we can fill in and kind of work the front desk or work check-ins. So if you notice at the bottom of the diagram, there's also an entrance there. So if we don't have like a checkout staff or we've determined hours, we don't need a certain person, they'd actually be able to come in through that door and then they can check in at the desk to Dockside and go do their bowling or walking or whatever they need to do.
So this is where all the park stuff will be
Yes.
checking in, like baseball.
Yes. Yep. Everything will go over there.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you guys for your time today.
Thank you.
Gail, did you have a maybe an update on where you guys are sitting for financing for this? Because it wasn't it like a $3 or $4 million project initially?
Yeah, it was about, I think the total cost originally was like 3.6. But everything's still pretty much on track. There's a few updates that we've done, but really, as far as where we're at, we're looking really good. So
Good.
And so within that, like Christy said, I mean, the city, did they give us our checklist or something? so the city's moved forward with that, and we really want to make sure everybody's recognized, and with that recognition, there'll be some benefits that the county employees will receive too,
Sure.
as well. So really want to show how all the different organizations coming together really made something happen for the community. So again, appreciate your guys' support, and again, we're on track with everything else.
Hey, great job on this. The website looks fantastic. The social media stuff looks really good. I think it'd be appropriate for the county to go ahead and authorize releasing of the funds that we committed to. So if somebody wants to make that a motion, I think that'd be a good idea.
So moved.
Okay.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and release the funds that are committed to Dockside Entertainment, the Devils Lake Park Board. Further discussion?
Do they have to supply some kind of, that was ARPA money, right?
Yeah.
So do we need documentation from them to do that, or?
We'll make sure it's all legal.
Yeah, we haven't really dispersed a whole lot of that money yet.
Okay.
So I'll be in touch with somebody as far as what we need.
Yep, and we'll be able to provide anything necessary too. So, and we are moving forward too. Just so you guys know, there was that USDA loan. We did get that fully approved. That actually needs to be finalized once the project is done. Actually, this Brian Guyon from North Dakota Rural Electric touched base with me today just to kind of see where we're at. So once that gets done, they need a bunch of documentation as well. So if there's anything you guys need, we'd be able to provide all that to you guys too. So
Great.
but it's really been a great community project. I mean, there's 5 or 6 I mean, including you guys that have came together on this thing. So we really appreciate it. And it's been a fun project to work on because it's fun to see. And these guys have done a fantastic job. Chrissy, as you said, that website's fantastic and really getting that information out to I'd encourage all you guys, if you haven't went to that Dockside DL, to check that out because it's awesome. So
it's docksideDL.com. It's a great website and really, optimistic and enthusiastic for the future of the community for that. And, thank you for your guys' leadership in that, bringing that project.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Next up, we have Chris Jager and Brian Singer. We have a couple different things that they're going to be discussing. CPR class, evacuation procedure, and weather closing guidelines.
Good afternoon, everyone. So our CPR class, this county offered it 2 years ago. We failed to stay on top of that. So I'm looking just for approval from you guys to offer another class, and it'd just be a biannual class, and offer it to our county employees. I spoke with Sean at the ambulance service, and it will be the class will be pro bono. All we have to do is pay for the cards. So, great savings, of course, for all of us, all the county employees. If we could cover it again like we did the last time, I believe it was $300 and some odd for just the cards for those who wanted to be CPR certified. Any questions on that aspect?
Is that a CPR first aid or just CPR?
CPR first aid and also AED usage, and we actually have the trainers for the AEDs that are in our building, so it's not just a generic AED training. It's actually to our AEDs that we currently have.
And you want biannual?
Biannual for that because that's when the cards expire.
Okay.
And if we could do it like we haven't really discussed that for January, February, somewhere around that time frame.
Sure. Like that in the form of a motion?
I would love that.
Yep, that'd be great.
I'll make that motion. Second.
We have a motion. We have a second to go ahead and make HR and emergency management offer the CPR classes on a biannual basis. And the county will pick up the tab for the cost of the cards. Anything else that should be included in that motion? No.
Not as of that one.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'm gonna turn the mic over to Brian for the next one.
All right. You guys probably got it in your packets, right? I'm going to guess, I hope, right? The evacuation manual. Okay. I don't know if you had a chance to review it or not, but it was something it took a couple months to put together. Used the template off the internet to do this. So it's just kind of a review of, 20, so many different ones are there. 22 different types of events that could happen in the building, from anything from bomb threats to active intruder to fire, and it just talks about what's the processes and procedures. Each floor, each office will go through if they need to handle any of those emergency issues. If you have any questions on it, and we're just obviously looking to get the blessing of the county commissioners on it. And
I thought it looked really good. Nice job on the work that was put into it. So, very, very detailed. Hopefully it answers everybody's questions on what to do in the event of an emergency within the building. So,
right. We had, if this has been talked about in the past, there used to be the evacuation point used to be the city offices. That is determined to be too close to the courthouse. So we had to come up with some come up with some different locations, and Chautauqua parking lot would be where everybody would go to. If it's inclement weather, I've gotten approval from St. Joseph's Church. The parish center would be our sheltered area.
Great. Appreciate that. Motion to go ahead and approve the evacuation procedure plan that's been developed.
So
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you finish up?
All right, and the final thing would be the weather closing guidelines. This was brought up in the past at the last commission. It was just a busy time and it actually never got finalized. So looking forward to getting a motion for that as well. Basically gives us guidelines to when or if we need to close the building down for inclement weather or for hazardous situations. Is about all it boils down to.
I have a question on it, and that would be, I know it's to the discretion of the emergency management and the office chair, but on the one paragraph there, it's under additional done, 3 paragraphs, it talks about a negative 30-degree wind chill. Well, we've had that for how many days in a row? Could we have had the courthouse closed down?
It could be discussed. It doesn't say that it's definitive. It just says may close. It doesn't say will close.
I understand.
And that was just the conversations. If we were going to have 50 below weather, or great, really hazardous weather to health, and hopefully just try not working in that conditions as best as possible.
Not only for keeping our employees safe, but obviously the public as well. It's one of those things that, if you're open, then people feel the need to come in and see you sometimes. And if we want to, keep people safe and that encourage them to stay home, well, that'd be the one way to do it. So that was kind of our thought process behind some of those closings, was when there's no travel advised, or if there's dangerous weather conditions out there. We're all adults and we can make those decisions on our own, but at the same time, sometimes it's best, it's easier if somebody else made those for you. And keeping everybody safe is our main goal.
No, I think it's good.
Anybody else have any questions on that for Chris or myself? I want to thank Chris for putting this together, and we should have approved this. And it's been such a mild winter up to this point that we don't see a real big need for it. But we are in the middle of January, and it's been downright cold here for the past week. And you don't like the weather in North Dakota, stick around till tomorrow. It will change. So with that, we'd probably like a motion to approve this as well.
I would so move. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second to go ahead and approve the winter weather closing guidelines. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin. Welcome.
All right. First off, I did make another
page, I guess, for the 5-year or it's not, our Ramsey County road plan. I guess I don't know if I need to go over everything here, but this will just be another page.
The equipment and building.
Yeah, for replacement or improvements. Hey,
That's good to have.
yeah. Something we've always had in the back of our minds, but we never had it written on a piece of paper, I guess. So now this will go on the website with the rest of our highway department road plans. So any questions there, I guess. I only went out 5 years on the estimates because it's really hard to even estimate that far out. And again, it's just a plan. It's something to review every year. So
Kevin, I see the Stark Weather Shop is on the plan.
mhm.
Curry and Webster or Edward or
Penn would be the only one. The Webster and Prairie are Webster and Edmore. Edmore is fairly new yet, so
Did we ever finish that bathroom in Penn?
Penn no. Well, it's functioning. But we had a problem with water coming inside, or surface water, rainwater, whatever you want to call it, coming into the sewer itself. So we raised the neck of it, sealed it off. So we'll see how that works now. We're still working on finishing some of the walls, but back to Stark Weather Shop is on there, and where's the other one? Prairie Shop. Yeah, the Penn Shop is in much better shape than those two. So it'll be after those two, which I didn't take out. The Prairie Shop is in 2032, so it'd be farther out to that even. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Again, this is just kind of a, moving document that can change anytime.
It's nice to have a plan.
Yeah.
So with that motion to go ahead and approve this to add to the 5-year road plan.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second to go ahead and add the equipment and building update 5-year to the 5-year highway department plan. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Kevin.
Mm-hmm. And we need to put a new furnace in the Prairie Shop. So we got estimates from Clemensrud and Lake Region Sheet Metal. Clemensrud was $28.50 for install and all labor and parts, equipment, everything, and $38.50 from Lake Region Sheet Metal for the same type of installation. So I guess for now I'm looking for a motion to accept the low quote from Clemensrud.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the low quote for Clemensrud Plumbing for new hanging furnace in the Prairie Shop. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Motion approved.
That's all I have. Both of those were either 90 or 100,000 BTU units, just for information. That's all I have. That's something for me.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. Jason, thank you for the updates on social media and regarding the roads. Yeah, works out good getting that information out, so appreciate that.
I'm sure Kevin shared with you, but we have entered into an agreement with the city for salt sand.
Great.
We ordered a load of salt, and we're gonna supply the sand out of our stockpile to mix that. So we're keeping it running full. So far, we're at 28 yards used in a week.
Okay.
That's not terrible.
Right.
Our road system is in really good shape right now. We got scattered spots, so packed ice on the military road that we're trying to deal with yet. That's still from the rain, the trees there, and then the cold road, which is actually, partially functional.
Right.
We're still working on that currently. So if it's at those two spots, that's all we know of. Sure, if anybody sees it, please let us know. Try to take care of it. But the city's been wonderful to work with, so that's been great. We got a plan in place with them. We're gonna do the sand, salt trade offs, we'll buy it, replace, and we'll work on that balance and so far. So we've got to figure it out, I guess, for the time being until we get our own system. Obviously, there's ups and downs with that, like loader issues, things like that. Gonna have to, if they're not working on me, we're the first time. You got to get another person to run you a payload or stuff like that. But I mean, those are those three, and they go until we get them running. So
Great. Appreciate the cooperation of the city.
yes,
Cold weather's been tough on equipment and manpower. Yeah.
We're back up to full. Start Monday, 22nd. We'll have it full staff. Yeah.
Nice. Great. Thank you. Anything else for Kevin tonight? Paul? Nothing? All right. Sheriff Lang, welcome.
Well, good evening. Just going to give you a little bit of update what's been going on. We replaced one deputy that left to go to the North Dakota Highway Patrol. We were able to hire one more for one of the two new positions. So we still got a position open. So we got two in the FTO program right now. They seem to be doing very well. We got our K9 here. We're just trying to figure out which car we're going to get rigged. And speaking of vehicles, we're down 2 vehicles right now. We got a pickup has about 130 some thousand miles on it. It's got an electrical issue that we're chasing, and it's all tore apart. We can't figure out which module it is. It sits overnight and it's dead. One of our deputies got called out to go assist another deputy that was requesting help. Started the car up. It warmed up a little bit. He responded, and we blew the motor up. It's only got 36,000 miles on it. Our only saving grace is it's covered under warranty. So we'll be down a couple vehicles for a while. So we'll be doing some swapping. So I thought I'd just update you on what's going on and some of our issues that we got going. But other than that, everything seems to be going well. So you got any questions or anything for the Sheriff's Department?
Anything for the Sheriff's Department tonight? Appreciate everything you and your guys do.
Thank you. Coming tonight.
Let's see. Unfinished business discussion on floodplain administration and FEMA stuff. I see we have in our packets 3 options for resolutions for townships. So Mr. Cummings is going to explain these.
Good evening. Taking the bullet for Chris here because I'm the one that drafted these. A while back, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he came in from the townships. He indicated that he wasn't exactly satisfied with the 2 options, and you gave direction for me to look at it and see what I could come up with. I did a lot of research on these. Originally, we had talked about maybe having 4 options. The more I researched, I found out that we can only have 3. Option 1 is that the township manages everything. And when I say everything, I mean they manage their building and zoning. And then they also manage their floodplain. So that's option 1, township management of everything. Second option is split management, where the township retains their ability to manage building and zoning, but they give up their floodplain management to the county. And then the third option is county managed everything. So county manages the township's building and zoning and the township's floodplain. And so the way that this shakes out, and Chris can correct me if I'm wrong, a majority of the townships that had issues with, as it was drafted, the issue was they didn't want to give up their building and zoning. And they wanted to be able to retain that and then decide whether they wanted to give up their floodplain management or keep it. Any township that's already given up its building and zoning, by default will most likely fall under the third county manages everything option, because the law says you can't manage your floodplain unless you also manage your building and zoning. So that makes sense? Did I say that right? You have to manage your building and zoning to manage your floodplain. So all these townships that have given up their building and zoning power, they're going to give up their floodplain management as well back to the county. That's option 3. So then it just really comes down to wrangling these townships. Chris is working to get a meeting together at the end of the month or beginning of February with FEMA and the township officials that we can get, try and get them on board. We are really pushing township officials to take some action, any action, because then it's documented and at least we know, and there's no question of, are you, aren't you? Good, bad, or otherwise, it doesn't matter to us from our perspective which they choose, just that they choose something. Those resolutions should have all the necessary law in there, all the necessary language. We're going to work on getting them circulated out. Did I miss anything, Chris?
Just to add a few things, I know you guys wanted to wrap this up by the end of the month. Conflicting schedules. We're looking at February 12th, the big meeting room from 10 to noon. Gotta say a huge thank you to Candy's office, especially at Leslie. She's been a great help in trying to get all this information out to the townships. But I'm gonna echo what Bo said. It'd be nice if you could show up and get something signed, because we need to update our records as well as FEMA needs to, state, I guess, needs to update theirs as well.
So you and I talked about sending these out certified. Is that something that we did, or we think the way that we're sent them out is adequate?
I don't know if have we started getting that documentation out. Yeah, so officially it hasn't rolled out.
So that's something that still could be a possibility if we wanted to make it that.
Yep.
And that's where we need the documentation back. And if you're not going to reply to it, we need to know that you at least received the documentation with that certification of the certified mail deal. We'd hate to spend the time and the dollars to send a deputy out there. That's the last thing that we want to do. But we just really need these resolutions addressed by the townships, signed off. Option 1, 2, or 3. Pretty easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. And then we can take it from there. And one of these resolutions talks about building and zoning, building permitting, zoning. I think it's maybe one of those times that the county starts looking into creating that position within the county, seeing what that position looks like, what the demand would be for it, and working up a budget for it for the 2025 budget year. So, I think we've skirted the issue long enough, and if we don't, and I think it's way more than what we can pawn off on a current employee, and it's certainly more than what the commission should handle. That's not our area of expertise, but if we had somebody that was their specific job duty and to do building and permitting and zoning, I think it would go a long ways in alleviating a lot of these headaches.
That's all I have.
So,
Let's see, does have any more questions?
anybody have anything for Chris, myself?
So, Bo, you said that the township can't manage the floodplain if they don't have their building and zoning, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so then how does it work for the township to keep their planning and zoning in the county do the floodplain? What's the difference there, just for information purposes?
Sure. So even though it kind of looks like it all is under the same umbrella, building and zoning is completely different than floodplain management. So that's the option 2, that split management. If a township were to decide to give that to the county or, relinquish that authority, then currently Chris is the floodplain manager and it's rolled into his duties. So we would manage their floodplain for them. It's very closely related to building and zoning, and there may be building and zoning issues when it comes to floodplain management, but it's kind of distinct. That doesn't really answer your question, but can you give me a little more direction what you're wanting to know?
So when you and I have talked about planning and zoning, since we're not in a
Home
rule charter, we have to go by the state law. So is that the difference? Because we don't have home rule, that we don't have to have both then?
No. So it's necessary under the FEMA guidelines and under the National Flood Insurance Program to be a community that can enforce the floodplain. You have to have building and zoning regulations or authority to do that. And the way that a lot of these prior resolutions from the late 80s to the late 90s were written, they'd given up their authority to do it.
Okay.
So that's why it would have to come to us.
Okay. Because we're just the next political subdivision above them.
Correct. Yep. You can kind of think of it like an upside down triangle. If the bottom one doesn't want to do it, it slides up to the next one. And then the law is also very clear that every community impacted by flooding has to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. Otherwise, you forfeit your ability to get state aid and federal aid if there's an emergency or disaster. So somebody has to do it. It's just who. Other questions?
Great explanation.
So if a township doesn't take part in that, and it was the flood there, and all the other townships around that township were participating in or giving to us, could get money from the state or FEMA, say, that township would just be out if they don't keep up on it. So they need to realize that if they don't keep up on it, they probably better give it up.
Yeah, in a nutshell, that's pretty much right. If they are the ones on the paper that are supposed to be managing it and they're not managing it, that causes problems. Or if you don't clearly say we're giving this to the county and you do nothing, you might be out the ability to get aid, and that's a big problem. So it's a good incentive to do something.
I think Steve's got that. He was having trouble with that before.
And Kevin's really a FEMA guru. He's gone through a lot of road FEMA declarations and has worked on a lot of those projects. And so when he leaves, we'll retain him. So, anything else, Chris? February 12th.
February 12th, 10 to noon,
It's a Monday.
Monday. Yep. In the big meeting room in the basement.
Okay. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Any other unfinished business?
Are we supposed to act on this? Or is this just for information?
New business, homestead credit. We have a couple of them.
Move to approve both of them. Second.
Moved and approved to approve the homestead credits. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Visitors and delegations. Crickets. Announcements. Portfolios. Anybody have anything they want to discuss on their portfolios? I know our first meeting of the year, not a whole lot of portfolio activity. Anybody have anything? Commissioner Volk? Commissioner Woodis?
The thing I got is the administrative assistant for Lake Mountains has taken a new position, and I don't know the status of the new hire. I've not heard yet. She's gonna help out till we get somebody.
Okay. Commissioner Wilhelmy?
Nothing.
Commissioner Gessner?
No, Fair Board was discuss city's participation in the new Fair Board building tonight, since their meeting was not able to be done last night. But other than that, I don't have anything.
Airport Authority met last week, and we met the objective of 8,000 boardings for the year, which is fantastic. I think 10 out of the 12 months we broke record passenger boardings for 10 months, and 2 of those months were because of bad weather cancellations. So just blew that out of the water, and every month was a record boarding from March through the end of the year, which is awesome. And so we have to maintain that level throughout the year, and then we're an additional $450,000 for operations for the, or not operations, but equipment. Well, yeah, I should let the airport manager speak on that, but I think it's operations goes towards, is where that money can go towards. So it'll free up some additional budget money for the airport. And then if we hit the 10,000 markings and we go up another $400,000, hit that $1 million mark for the year, reimbursement from the federal government. So good things happening at the airport. I think they're staying on timeline for the building. Should be complete by late spring, just in time for everything to get buttoned up for the federal money that they had received for that. Other than that, LEC meets tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the Law Enforcement Center. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. That meeting adjourned.